After 6 long weeks of voting in the gruelling heat, India's election delivered stunning results. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is poised to preside over a third consecutive term in power, yet the results have shocked most pollsters and Modi supporters. That's because Modi lost the single-party majority he's enjoyed since he was first elected in 2014. So, what does this all mean for India? That's our topic this week. I'm Erdem Koch.
And I'm Ozan Ibrahim.
Welcome to Put Simply. Joining us this week is Sanjeev Sharma, the CEO of the integrated communications and strategic advisory firm Integral. Sanjeev provides business and regulatory solutions in the Indian market through public advocacy. He's the first guest who's returning, to put simply, to dissect the election results in India. Sanjeev, it's wonderful to have you back. For those who didn't catch you last time, can you please start by introducing yourself and what you do?
Thank you, Adam, for having me here. It's a pleasure being on the podcast once again. I represent a company called Integral Advisory, which is a strategic business solution company providing guidance to global corporations for the Indian marketplace. We have been helping corporates to enhance their positioning and engagement with key stakeholders in the areas of regulatory affairs and public relations. Been working over past 2 decades with several renowned global corporations across various industry verticals. Headquartered in Delhi, we have branches in Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Calcutta, covering all the regions in India. We are around 20-25 people working for us. That's in a nutshell which we are.
Sanjeev, last time we spoke, just over 6 weeks ago, as the voting was starting, we touched on the fact that the Indian voters were very excited, and we talked a lot about the general passion that they feel for democracy and voting. Before we get to the results, how would you rate this election? Could you feel the excitement? It seems to have run pretty smoothly.
Yep. Generally, in Indian elections runs pretty smoothly over the past few decades. Indians, as you know, are very vocal when it comes to elections. Nearly 70% of India population, that is around 642 million voters, participated in the election. Also, with the proliferation of news channels and the advent of social media, the level of discussion has gone up, and that all added up to excitement in this election. Right from the announcement of the dates to the conclusion, exit poll predictions, and then the final results. All these events have made this election a very eventful, exciting election in last many years.
Let's get to the results, Sanjeev. Everybody was expecting a convincing win by Prime Minister Modi. Could you put simply the results of this election?
Yeah, it was kind of a very different result what people were not very different. It was quite different from what people were expecting. After the exit poll predictions, definitely the results came as surprising and shocking for the ruling party BJP, that was expecting a brute majority, and they was campaigning like that throughout the election. However, in the end, BJP survived, but the main opposition, Congress, also revives, and many regional parties thrive. That, in a nutshell, the results of this election. BJP remained below the majority mark, which is 273 seats, and now are dependent on allies for government formation for the first time in last 10 years.
It certainly was a surprising election result. Could you dig a little bit deeper into why Prime Minister Modi didn't get the expected result?
Well, then in the hindsight, we may say that few factors have worked against BJP on the ground. The BJP's traditional strength and campaign tactics didn't yield the desired results this time. The opposition effectively capitalized on local issues, while BJP stands on the matters like defense recruitment scheme, farm laws hurt their prospects. On one major factor that weighed on the electorate this time seems to be steep inflation in the last 3-4 years and the high level of unemployment among youths. Those factors swayed the poor voters away from the ruling dispensation, especially in the swing states like UP, which was the major strength for BJP in last two elections. Farmers' agitations has also worked against BJP in the states like Punjab, Haryana, and Rajasthan. Also, another prominent northern belt community of Jats were upset with BJP in Rajasthan and Haryana. So this election was fought not a national issue which happened in last two elections, but mostly on local issues like unemployment and inflation. At the pan-India level, the slogan of BJP crossing 400 triggered an emotion that the BJP will bring in sweeping changes in the constitution. Some of the BJP leaders also fueled this narrative with their statements. This helped opposition as they found a common theme to fight against BJP.
Well, we love surprise election results, and while hindsight is a wonderful thing, were the opinion polls wrong? Could we say that there was a silent reluctance, if you like, to giving Modi another majority that perhaps wasn't picked up in the polls?
We are now talking with the benefit of hindsight, as I said. Before the election, when we spoke, there was definitely an edge to the BJP, and the fact that they still got 36-37% vote share and 240 seats is an indication of this trend. Opposition seemed to lack the gravitas, and Mr. Modi was still the most popular national leader. Maybe somewhere along the way, the pollster didn't do a course connection and failed to gauge the undercurrent that was prevailing, especially in the key states of UP, Maharashtra, and Haryana and West Bengal.
Sanjeev, go to those states. I know that state-based politics and parties and usually the dynamics in states are often very different and unique from maybe some of the dynamics within the national politics in India. But what happened in places like Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh, where the BJP looks like it suffered some unexpected losses?
Like in the state of Tamil Nadu, the pollsters were overestimating the BJP, considering the vast clout of the two local parties, DMK and AIDMK, two regional parties, had on the electorate. It was always difficult and challenging for the BJP to match their cadre and established vote bank. Although they increased their vote share there, but that didn't result in any seats for them. In Maharashtra, the BJP's attempt to engineer a split in long-time ally Shiv Sena, followed by a division in another party, NCP, created a sympathy factor for the two regional outfits and hurt the BJP prospects. BJP also could not announce their candidates on time in that state. The fact that a few big ticket investment projects went out of the state of Maharashtra and the Maratha reservation agitation also played a role in BJP defeat. Another state, Uttar Pradesh, UP, results were indeed surprising. The regional party leader, Akhilesh Yadav, has been working on broadening the party's appeal beyond its traditional vote bank. The party created a new social engineering by fielding candidates from various other communities, which are from backward caste, upper caste, and scheduled caste. This strategy of Samajwadi Party, the regional party, helped them in increasing their vote banks and making inroads into the vote share of BJP directly. The economic woes experienced by the poor class further drove them towards the opposition, where Rahul Gandhi's idea of wealth redistribution and economic freebies appealed to them.
How do you see Prime Minister Modi going into his current term in his approach to some of these states? I mean, do you see that the Prime Minister might try and address some of those concerns? Was it a clear message to him and his ruling party? What type of policy changes do you think will happen within some of these different areas?
I think BJP as a party has a strong cadre base and they understand the ground realities very well. And Mr. Modi is a very smart politician. Uh, I hope they will learn things from their mistake. But one thing is very clear now in this election that you can't take Indian voters for granted. Yeah, as I said in the last podcast, also we were expecting majority for BJP, but I put a rider there. But the Indian voters are always unpredictable.
What does all this mean, Sanjeev, now for how he'll be able to govern? I mean, what will his coalition look like?
Mr. Modi still retained the clout in the BJP as he got elected as the BJP parliamentary leader and as well as the leader of the alliance, which is NDA, National Democratic Alliance. As PM, he needs to take a conciliatory approach now. To that extent, he needs to mold his leadership style and decision-making approach. The BJP will need to address the concerns of diverse stakeholders while simultaneously pursuing its broader national agenda. So some contentious political issues may be put on back burner as it always happened in coalition era. And Mr. Modi has never worked in a coalition. It will be interesting to see how he approaches this.
You mentioned his agenda. Do you think Prime Minister Modi has a strong mandate, in your opinion? And what type of, you mentioned that some of the kind of issues on his agenda may be put on the back burner. what particular issues do you think, and what would their impact be for India going forward?
The BJP has suffered some setback as they are unable to reach the majority mark of 273 on their own. To that extent, the mandate is not there for BJP to pursue their political agenda in an unhindered manner. I think the economic agenda of BJP will be influenced slightly by the political loss they faced in the northern belt. So the economic concerns of the poor farmers may get included in the economic policies, as the current welfare scheme of the BJP, which gives free ration to 800 million people, have not yielded them the desired results. We need to wait for the full year budget, which will happen in sometime in July for the new government, to see what kind of policy they're going to follow.
Let's look beyond India's borders now. What does this mean for the region and for India's foreign policy?
I don't think India's foreign policy will deviate much, as the major political parties in India have always been behind the idea of safeguarding domestic interest first and present the idea of a unified, strong India at the international forums. So I don't think there's going to be any change in that.
Sanjeev, we often talk about elections where perhaps the leader or the candidate who's in front doesn't meet expectations. But of course, as you touched on, we need to put things into perspective. I think Prime Minister Modi has won I understand, an unprecedented third term. He still managed to get a large segment of the vote. What do you think this means for his future? Are we likely to see Prime Minister Modi go for another record fourth term?
It's too early to say. Maybe we get more clarity on the political discourse of the country 6 months down the line. If Mr. Modi, PM Modi, managed to attract new allies and his position gets stronger, he will still pursue his politics. However, initially, he will have to test his style to suit the compulsion of coalition politics. Another interesting fact is that there are going to be three major state elections going to happen sometime end of this year, which is the states of Maharashtra, Haryana, and Jharkhand. If BJP manages to win those states, then that will make Mr. Modi stronger once again, and he will be able to pursue in a different way. But if they lose, then that will be a different kind of a story then. So that's what I'm saying. We will get to know this situation end of this year, what kind of policy the Prime Minister Modi is going to follow.
One of the immediate reactions, Sanjeev, was from the stock market, which suffered significant losses after the result. You're obviously very close to business and industry. What do you think this will mean for the business environment in India?
Yeah, there was a significant crash because the business community and the market were expecting brute majority for BJP, but didn't happen. But market is mature enough to understand that. And if you see the markets of yesterday, they have recovered substantially from what they are on the election result day. Now, like all constituencies, the business community is also realigning themselves to the new political reality. There was some volatility as the results didn't meet the pre-election hype. However, the business environment will likely to be stabilized as the new government gets down to business and the hype of election season dwindles down. And if you in terms of reform agenda, since 91, whichever government has come into power, the reform has never taken a backward step. Maybe the pace of reform has gone slow or moved faster, but it's always moving ahead.
As a follow-up to that, do you think that there are any particular industries that you see are going to benefit from these new political realities that perhaps may not have benefited? Obviously, with coalition governments anywhere in the world, there will have to be compromises, etc. But can you see any industries or business kind of areas where you think maybe compromise a coalition government may have some benefit?
I think it will be a more consultative process, and a lot of business houses will get more opportunity to interact with the government, because it will be because of the coalition politics. They will have many more stakeholders to deal with, and the consultation process will be much more than what it was before, which is in a way good for the industry, for other industries also to get an opportunity to thrive. And government focus, as it happened in last 10 years, will be on infrastructure. That's the main focus, and that's how the Indian GDP has survived for the last 10 years.
Thank you again, Sanjeev, for your great insights. We'll have to get you back on, I think, a third time to help us dissect maybe some of those key state elections that are coming up later on in the year. So Thank you again, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Zan, and thank you very much for having me there.
And that's been this week's episode of Put Simply. Be sure to follow us on LinkedIn at Oroka Group to stay up to date with all the latest episodes and news. Feel free to leave a comment and suggestions on what you'd like to see featured on the podcast as well. Until next time, I'm Erdem Koch.
And I'm Ozan Ibrahim.
Thanks for listening.